do a cigar night at No.6, and the idea of these events is to try something that straight away to Reinhard, who is the Vice President of Meerapfel.
Well, thank you very, very much for having me. It's a privilege, really, to be here, to be back. It feels like home, and it's always wonderful to enjoy your company and to have the privilege of being your guest.
Thank you.
Honestly, every time I get to enjoy a Meerapfel cigar, and in particular if I get to enjoy the wonderful people around, it still gives me goosebumps. It's really something special, and what the family has put together, what the family has proposed with Meerapfel cigar is something remarkable. It's a tribute to the family history and legacy. It is a project of hearts that was created with the sole purpose of honoring a family legacy and tradition that spans over 400 years and more than 11 generations. I don't know if any of you had the chance and the privilege of smoking a Meerapfel cigar before. I know at least a few did. But just to put a simple question out there in the very beginning, when was the last time that you enjoyed a cigar with a 20+ year aged wrapper and filler and binder tobaccos of 17, 18 years of age? It's quite a particular experience, and I know that a few people in here, not looking in any particular direction, are very familiar with the expression that beautifully aged tobacco can give you, and the sensations that cigars that were not only meticulously crafted but set aside for a long time to be at their very best and to offer you a unique experience. I find that in the premium cigar industry in particular, it's the family businesses like the one we're sitting or standing in tonight, and like the one that the Meerapfels have built and perpetuated over centuries. It's these families that are the backbone of the tobacco and cigar industry, because those are the families that have the patience and the vision and the foresight and the passion to offer something that does not always make sense economically, but it makes a lot of sense in terms of the community and the conviviality and the camaraderie, and it certainly makes sense on your taste buds. Meerapfel cigar was never conceived because somebody saw a niche in the market or thought that there's something lacking in the portfolio, either a specific tobacco that was trendy. It wasn't conceived as a business plan. It was solely conceived to honor the Meerapfel family's history, which is quite a remarkable one. I mentioned 400 years. The Meerapfels were trading tobacco from the New World transatlantically into Spain as far back as the 1600s, eventually settled in Germany, where they grew tobacco and started manufacturing cigars in 1876. The last time I had the honor of hosting a cigar night together with Rika and AJ, we enjoyed the Mayer Master Blend in honor of the great-great-grandfather who started the cigar manufacturing history of the Meerapfel family in 1876. And all the generations of the family brought something to the table and helped the industry evolve, mostly behind the scenes though, which is why not so many people are familiar with the Meerapfel name. The great-grandfather Ernst sailed to Indonesia, discovered Sumatra tobacco, brought back Sumatra seed to Europe. His son Heller, the grandfather of the present family generation, was heavily involved with Cuba, close friend and confidant of the young Che Guevara, also a close friend of Ernest Hemingway, Dunhill and Davidoff. And in fact, he was so close to the Cubans that he was granted an export license from Cuba Tabac for raw material for the sacred leaf of Cuba, and preserved the majority of one of the last crops before the Cuban embargo. His son Richard was the gentleman who was primarily responsible for saving and preserving Cameroon tobacco. Cameroon wrapper for handmade premium cigars, which today most people who are familiar with the Meerapfel name would be familiar with and know the Meerapfel family name from. Cameroon wrapper, which you can find on many of the Fuente cigars like the Hemingway series or the Don Carlos. But over the decades, the family has supplied Cameroon leaf to many of the major manufacturers, and they have built these remarkable relationships and friendships with quite many of the most well-respected cigar manufacturers internationally and around the world. I always say that there's something tragic with every great story, and in particular, Richard Meerapfel, who had fallen in love with the country of Cameroon, with the people of Cameroon, and most certainly with the tobacco from Cameroon. He had to experience and witness that his life's quest was shattered into pieces when a military dictator forced his way into power in the early 2000s, and the family was expropriated from Central Africa and Cameroon. Soon thereafter, Richard Meerapfel passed away, way too young, under tragic circumstances, most likely from a broken heart, after he had learned that the family had lost everything in Central Africa and Cameroon. And it was back then and there that Jeremiah Meerapfel, now the oldest of the family, knew, and he realized, and he started planning on at some day offering something very, very special in form of a cigar to pay tribute and respect to his family history and legacy. And that was when Meerapfel Cigar was born, when the vision was created. And here we are today, and together we can enjoy the fruits of that vision and patience and the creation that eventually became Meerapfel Cigar. Tonight we will be smoking the Richard Double Robusto in honor of the late Richard Meerapfel and the hardships in Cameroon. This was the first cigar that was launched under the Meerapfel Cigar name, and as you can imagine, it's a very emotional and very particular one for the Meerapfel family and for all of us. If you look at the cigar ring, for example, which in and by itself is a piece of art, it took more than 4 years to just create the ring for the cigars, with the idea of recreating Belgian lace. So the Meerapfel family today resides in Belgium, and one of the things that Belgium is best known for is the lace from Bruges. One of the most beautiful things that you can dress a human being in. And so Jeremiah thought, how can we take this inspiration from the lace of Bruges and apply that to a cigar? And so with the patented technology, we're now able to create that extremely fine and delicate laser cut so you can see the wrapper leaf from underneath. And the laser cut has a very particular design and pattern, resembling a stylized tobacco leaf as a tribute to Cameroon.
I was lucky enough to smoke this cigar last year, and I messaged Ronald straight away, and I was like, when are we having this in the UK? And I had to wait about a year. So you are in for a treat. It's beautiful. I'm excited that we can finally share it.
I have not smoked this cigar yet.
I'm excited.
So today is my first day as well. Yes.
I very much look forward to your thoughts.
Yes.
And yeah, as I said at the beginning, it's truly a privilege, even for me, and I get to enjoy a few of these wonderful creations every now and then. But every time I get to enjoy one, it is a privilege. And I hope that you will tremendously enjoy this cigar tonight in honor of Richard Meerapfel.
So the Richard, I don't know how you can explain. The Richard is the premium of the line, correct?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's more premium than any of the other cigars. It is different.
Right.
Given that every one of our blends, every one of our lines has a different blend composition. They all carry the vintage Cameroon wrapper, but the rest of the tobaccos is different, even though they all have very distinct age on them. The idea of the master blends was to give you an idea of the different characteristics of the Meerapfel family members and the era that they lived in. So the master blends, not only in their design and the packaging, are supposed to tell you a little bit about the family history, but even in the smoking experience, even in the aromatic delivery and in the taste profile, the cigars take you on a journey, and it's almost like a time capsule where the taste profile should give you an idea of who was Richard Meerapfel and what was he like? What was the time like that he lived in? Yeah. One thing about the color, every master blend also has a particular Pantone color. In this case, this is a Sang d'encre, or the blood of the earth, as a tribute to the hardships of Cameroon. Whereas if you remember the Meyer master blend we enjoyed last time, has a dark blue color, the ciel de nuit, the night sky, which is a very mystical, moody, dark, rich color that has a lot of depth and complexity to it, like the Meyer blend that we enjoyed the last time. So all of these intricacies and details, as I said, have been put together and have been meticulously created to share with you some of the rich family history and take you on a journey together with us, and to invite all of you to go on this journey with us and to partake in the Meerapfel family history and legacy. Given the unique age of the tobaccos, the production on all our cigars is strictly limited. Per Vitola, we only create 613 boxes annually, so it's not a one-off, one and done. It's an ongoing production, but with a very, very limited annual output. Just to put things into perspective, of the Richard Double Robusto, I think the UK has received less than 20 boxes. I wish all of you a wonderful experience with the Richard Double Robusto. I will let you enjoy the cigar. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'll do my very best to answer as many of them as possible. And again, many thanks to our wonderful hosts for tonight and to all of you for joining us for the special tasting. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming and participating in the Meerapfel tasting as well. So overall, what do you think? This side, what do you think of the cigar? How do you define it? A different experience? Best New World cigar. Best one you've had so far. And also, obviously winning the ashtray. Hey? It's a beautiful ashtray, huh? Well, I'd like to say thank you to Reinhard for coming as well and letting us to the story of the family. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah. Until our next cigar night at number 6. Thank you again very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.